Ladies and gentlemen, hey you, yes you, the one staring into the screen right now, I need you to hear this. Stop scrolling, start working, because every time your thumb swipes up, your future swipes down. This isn't just about screen time, this is about your life. Do you know what your most valuable asset is? It's not your phone, it's not money, it's not talent. We live in a world where attention is currency, and you're giving yours away without realizing it. The first step to reclaiming your life, your time, and your potential is becoming brutally honest about where your attention goes. Most people aren't lazy, they're simply unaware, unaware of how often they escape into their screens, unaware of how many hours are swallowed by meaningless scrolling, and unaware of the silent cost it's having on their goals, their focus, and their identity. This isn't just about screen time reports or digital detox trends. It's deeper than that. You need to understand that every time you pick up your phone without intention, you are reinforcing a behavior, you're building a habit, you're teaching your brain that distraction is comfort. That avoidance is acceptable, that instant gratification wins, and you might think, well, it's just 5 minutes on TikTok, or I'm just relaxing after work. But those just 5 minutes moments stack up. They compound, they bleed into hours, and those hours become days, and those days shape your life. If I asked you right now, how many hours a day are you really spending on social media, you'd probably guess low. You'd say maybe 1 or 2, but your screen says otherwise. It says 4, maybe 5, maybe more, and here's the hard truth, the life you want, the energy, the fitness, the discipline, the business, the confidence. That life is hiding underneath the time you're wasting. But you can't change what you don't acknowledge. That's why awareness is the foundation. You need to become the watcher of your own behavior, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Start paying attention to when you pick up your phone. Is it when you feel bored, anxious, overwhelmed? Is it the first thing you do in the morning, even before you've said a word out loud? Is it what you do at red lights, in grocery store lines, or even when you're sitting with someone you love? These are all signals, not flaws, not failures, just feedback. Feedback that your attention has been hijacked by habits that don't serve you. But the moment you become aware, you have the power to interrupt the pattern. Here's where the education part kicks in. The apps you're using are built to steal your time. They are engineered by some of the smartest minds in behavioral psychology. Infinite scroll wasn't an accident. Notifications, vibration feedback, endless feeds, they're all designed to keep you hooked. They are slot machines in your pocket. Every swipe is a pull of the lever. Every like is a dopamine hit. And your brain, your incredible, intelligent, beautiful brain, is being conditioned like a lab rat. But you're not a lab rat, you're a leader in your own life, and leaders pay attention to what they're doing. So what do you do once you're aware? You interrupt, you pause, you ask questions like, why am I picking this up right now? What am I avoiding? What could I do instead that would serve me better? Then you replace the automatic habit with a conscious one. Put your phone in another room for an hour. Turn off non-essential notifications. Set screen limits, not because you're weak, but because you're focused. Pick up a book, go for a walk, call someone, journal, stretch, think, work. You see, awareness isn't just about knowing you have a problem. It's about accepting that you are the solution. The moment you notice yourself reaching for distraction is the exact moment you get to choose differently. That's power, that's growth, that's progress. So today, start by tracking just one thing: how many times you unlock your phone without purpose, not to respond to a text or make a call, just the mindless habit of escape. Count it, write it down, not to shame yourself, but to shock yourself into action, because the numbers will humble you, and that humility will give birth to clarity. This is not about deleting every app or going off the grid. It's about becoming intentional with the most limited resource you have, your time, and once you protect that time, you'll start to notice something remarkable. Your mind will feel clearer, your energy will increase, your focus will sharpen, and your confidence will rise, not because of what you deleted, but because of what you finally decided to do with your life. Stop letting your future get lost in the scroll. The first step to transformation isn't hustle, it's not strategy, it's not even discipline, it's awareness. And now you have it. What will you do with it? Let's talk about your brain for a second. Not the version that shows up to work or school or scrolls through self-help content. I mean the raw, real behind the scenes version of your brain, the part that's addicted to patterns, routines, and comfort. You see, human behavior is governed by what psychologists call the habit loop, a cycle that repeats itself endlessly: cue, routine, reward. Here's how it works. You feel a trigger: boredom, stress, fatigue, loneliness. You respond with a behavior. You open Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Maybe you binge a series or check notifications. You receive a reward, a tiny hit of dopamine, that chemical in your brain that says, "Ah, that feels good. Let's do it again." It's quick, it's invisible, it's automatic, and it's robbing you. This loop is exactly why you find yourself mindlessly scrolling, even when you have more important things to do. Even when you've just told yourself 5 minutes ago that you would be productive, your phone buzzes, or worse, it doesn't, and your brain still goes, "Maybe I missed something." And boom, you're in the loop again. You didn't choose it, but it's running you. And what's worse, this loop gets stronger every time you follow it. That's how habits work. The brain doesn't care if the habit is helpful or harmful. It just cares whether the loop completes. So the more you reward distraction, the more deeply wired it becomes in your subconscious. Here's what you have to realize. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're programmed. And the programs you're running have been conditioned by years of repetition and reinforcement. But the good news: anything that was programmed can be reprogrammed. First, you have to understand that platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, these aren't built for entertainment anymore. They're built for addiction. Infinite scroll equals no natural stopping point. Algorithmic feeds equals personalization that keeps you hooked. Notifications equals artificial urgency. Viral content equals hijacking your emotional state. That's not your fault. But staying in it, that is your responsibility. If you're not aware of the habit loop, you'll keep confusing distraction for relaxation. You'll keep calling it just winding down, when really you're numbing out. And every time you choose the short-term reward of easy dopamine, you're sacrificing long-term growth. You say you want to start a business. You say you want to change your life. You say you want confidence, focus, freedom. But your habits aren't aligned with those desires. So what can you do? Break the loop. It starts with identifying the cue. What's triggering your behavior? Is it boredom, fear of starting, a sense of being overwhelmed? Become aware of the emotion or situation that leads you to grab your phone or open a tab. Next, interrupt the routine. This is where Mel Robbins' 5-second rule comes in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. Physically shift, stand up, close the app, lock the phone, change your posture. You need to create a moment of friction, something that disrupts the automatic behavior. Then replace the reward. Your brain wants dopamine, it craves that feel-good chemical. So give it something else. Try a 10-minute walk, journaling your goals, deep breathing, putting on music, doing 10 push-ups, opening a book. Replace mindless consumption with mindful action, and let's be real, it won't be easy at first. You'll feel restless, you'll want to reach for your phone, you'll think, just one quick check. That's the loop trying to survive, but every time you don't give in, you weaken the loop, you reclaim your power. You build a new identity. A person who scrolls is distracted. A person who acts is determined. Now let's zoom out. Think about what this habit loop has cost you so far. How many hours you've lost to scrolling. How many goals stayed on your vision board instead of your calendar. How many dreams turned into dust while your thumb kept flicking up. If that thought stings, it should, because awareness isn't supposed to feel good. It's supposed to wake you up. But here's the gift: the same way habits can destroy you, they can also build you. One small intentional decision a day, one routine that fuels your focus instead of killing it, one action repeated often enough that it becomes your new normal. It's time to stop living by default and start living by design. You're not meant to be a consumer of content. You're meant to be a creator of your own life. So when the urge comes, when the loop fires up again, pause, breathe, ask yourself, is this helping me or hurting me? Then choose the future over the feed, choose creation over consumption, choose purpose over patterns. Because when you break the loop, you break free. Let's get one thing straight. You're not going to feel motivated every day. In fact, you probably won't feel motivated most days, and that's not a flaw. That's biology. Your brain doesn't wake up excited to do hard things. It wakes up to survive, to conserve energy, to avoid discomfort. So if you're waiting for the right mood to show up before you do the work, you've already lost the day. Motivation is a myth if you don't have discipline. Discipline isn't some magical trait reserved for elite athletes, CEO, or Navy SEALs. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build. And it's built in the exact moment you do the thing you don't want to do. That's the gap, the space between your feelings and your actions. The people who win in life are the ones who stop letting their feelings make the final decision. Here's the truth. Distraction is easy. Scrolling, easy. Skipping the workout, easy. Delaying that project, easy. Putting it off until tomorrow, that's easy too. But easy now becomes hard later, because while you're distracted, someone else is getting sharper. While you're scrolling, someone else is executing. While you're procrastinating, someone else is building. Not because they're more talented, not because they have more resources, but because they've chosen discipline over distraction. And here's what they've figured out. Discipline is freedom. It's not a punishment. It's the pathway to the life you actually want. So how do you build it? Start with structure. Without structure, your day is a free-for-all. That's a recipe for distraction. You need time blocks. You need to decide ahead of time when you'll work, when you'll rest, and when you'll unplug. Don't let your day just happen. Plan it like your future depends on it, because it does. Next, you need boundaries. Protect your focus like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Silence notifications, set app timers, create a dedicated workspace. Tell people no when something doesn't align with your goals. And when the world tries to pull you into 1,000 directions, you stay anchored to one, yours. Then comes the ritual. Discipline is about building rituals that eliminate the need for willpower. You don't brush your teeth because you're motivated. You do it because it's automatic. You don't need a motivational speaker to remind you to shower. So why is your purpose negotiable? Make it automatic. Stack your habits. Wake up, stretch, journal, deep work. Train your brain to expect discipline. Here's a simple rule. When in doubt, act before you think. The more you think about doing something hard, the less likely you are to do it. That's where Mel Robbins' 5-second rule is a game changer. You feel resistance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Move before your brain starts negotiating, because your brain is a professional at talking you out of what's good for you. And remember this, distractions will always be there. The world will never stop giving you reasons to look away from your purpose. There will always be one more episode, one more scroll, one more excuse, but you're not here to live a life of one more. You're here to take control. You know what's harder than discipline? Regret. Regret for what you didn't start. Regret for the chances you didn't take. Regret for the person you could have become. Every time you choose discipline, you silence that future regret. You build self-respect. You build trust with yourself. You become someone who follows through even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, and guess what happens when you live that way? Your confidence grows. Your results multiply, your momentum builds, discipline creates a compound effect. Each focused day adds up. Each hour spent working while others were distracted puts you one step closer, and eventually discipline becomes your new default. Because here's the ultimate shift. You stop needing discipline to force yourself to work. You start needing discipline to protect your peace from anything that isn't aligned. You start craving the quiet. You start enjoying the grind. You start loving the process. That's the version of you we're after, not the one waiting to feel ready. The one who acts daily, consistently, relentlessly. So the next time distraction knocks, don't answer. The next time your brain says, just 5 more minutes, reply, 5 more actions instead. The next time motivation fails you, lean on discipline, because discipline is what bridges the gap between where you are and where you're meant to be. One of the biggest lies you've been told is that action comes after confidence, that you'll take the leap once you feel ready, that you'll start the project, go to the gym, record the video, send the email after the fear goes away. But that's not how it works. Not for high performers, not for entrepreneurs, not for anyone chasing something meaningful. Confidence doesn't create action. Action creates confidence. If you sit around waiting for perfect clarity, perfect timing, perfect energy, your goals will remain fantasies. The secret: you don't need perfect, you need motion, you need to make action a reflex, not a reward. Think about brushing your teeth, you don't debate it, you don't negotiate with yourself, it's a reflex, automatic, built into your day. No motivation required. Now imagine if taking bold steps toward your future was that effortless. Imagine if sitting down to write, to build, to study, to plan was as natural as making coffee in the morning. That's the shift you're aiming for: automatic action, not constant overthinking. And how do you get there? Start by training your brain to respond instead of retreat. This is where Mel Robbins' 5-second rule becomes a weapon. You feel the hesitation rise, count backwards, go. That countdown interrupts your pattern of self-doubt and forces your prefrontal cortex to activate, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, not survival. Because the truth is, your brain is designed to keep you safe, not successful. It wants you to avoid risk, conserve energy, and stick to the familiar. So when you're about to do something that pushes you, whether it's speaking up, starting something new, or stepping outside your comfort zone, your brain panics, not because you're not capable, but because it senses uncertainty. But uncertainty is where growth lives, so you have to outsmart your own mind. The moment the thought hits, I should do this, you move immediately. You take action before your brain starts feeding you all the reasons not to. And don't overthink what action means. It doesn't have to be big. In fact, most of the time it should be small. Micro-action, one push-up, one sentence, one call, one step. That's how you build momentum. That's how you build trust with yourself. That's how action becomes your default setting, because here's the reality: inaction is also a habit. The more you hesitate, the more your brain learns that hesitation is normal. And soon you start waiting on everything, waiting to feel ready, waiting for clarity, waiting for a sign. And while you wait, your goals get stale, your energy drains, and your self-confidence erodes. But when you take action, even if it's imperfect, you prove to yourself that you're in charge. You stop being a passenger in your life and start being the driver, and the more often you act, the easier it becomes. You become someone who doesn't hesitate. You become someone who moves. You become someone who doesn't wait for permission. And here's the beautiful part: action compounds. One small win gives you a shot of dopamine. You feel good, you do more, you start to believe in yourself, not because you sat around affirming it, but because you proved it through your behavior. This is how you shift from wishing to doing, from consuming to creating. From talking about your goals to actually achieving them. Let's talk examples. You want to write a book. Start with 1 paragraph. Don't wait for the weekend retreat. You want to get fit. Start with 10 push-ups. Don't wait to join the perfect gym. You want to build a business. Send 1 email, build 1 landing page. Don't wait until your plan is flawless. Start ugly. Start small. Start anyway, because your future isn't created in grand, perfect gestures. It's built in the consistent choice to take action when it's easier to stay stuck. So today, make a decision. When you think it, you move. No delay, no debate, no drama. Make this your new habit. Turn hesitation into a trigger for action. Let fear signal that you're on the edge of growth. Let discomfort be the sign you're moving forward. Don't wait for courage, act your way into it. Don't wait for clarity, create it through motion. Don't wait for confidence, build it by doing the work. When you start making action a reflex, everything changes. You'll work faster, think sharper, live louder, and most importantly, you'll stop living on the sidelines of your own potential. Every decision you make today is either a vote for the future you want or against it. Read that again. Your dream body, your successful business, your financial freedom, your mental clarity, your peace, none of it happens later. It starts right now in this very moment with the choices you make while no one is watching. Most people think their future is something far off in the distance, something they'll build one day when things settle, when they have more time, when they feel more ready. But the truth is, your future is being created today. What you say yes to, what you say no to, and what you choose to prioritize. You are not waiting on the future. The future is waiting on you, and every time you pick up your phone to scroll instead of opening your laptop to work, every time you put off the workout, ignore the calendar, skip the uncomfortable but necessary conversation, you're saying the future can wait. But it won't wait. Opportunities expire, momentum fades. The version of you that you're meant to become, that version is on the other side of a decision you've been putting off for way too long. The decision to stop making excuses, the decision to stop seeking perfection. The decision to finally take your goals seriously. You don't need a better plan, you need a stronger commitment. You don't need more information, you need to make a choice. Let's be clear, the life you want is not an accident. It's not a fluke, it's the result of intention, and that intention only becomes real when you back it up with action. Here's what that looks like. You don't just say, I want to be successful. You choose to wake up an hour earlier to work on your dream before the world wakes up. You don't just say, I want to be in shape. You choose to do the workout even when you're tired, sore, or not feeling it. You don't just say, I want to start a business. You choose to write the plan, reach out, pitch, fail, learn, and go again. The real battle isn't between success and failure. It's between now and later, because later is a liar. Later tells you that you'll have more energy tomorrow. Later tells you you'll be more confident next month. Later convinces you to be passive in the face of what could transform your life. But your goals don't care about later. Your future doesn't grow from hesitation. It grows from action. You want to be proud of yourself a year from now. Then make the decision today that your future self will thank you for. Choose progress over perfection. Choose focus over feeling. Choose action over excuses. This is what powerful people do. They don't make decisions based on emotion. They make decisions based on outcomes. They don't live in reaction. They live in intention. They look at their goals and ask, what can I do right now to move 1% closer? Because here's the magic, 1% every day compounds, and soon the small decisions become your new normal. The hard things become automatic, and your identity changes, not because you told yourself you could do it, but because you proved it. That starts with the decision to stop playing small, stop numbing, stop scrolling, stop watching other people live their dreams while you talk yourself out of yours. Make the decision to own your time, to command your energy, to invest in the vision, not the distraction. When you wake up, you get to choose. Will you be ruled by the day, or will you rule it? Will you react, or will you lead? Will you let your future slip away in moments of comfort, or will you seize it through courageous action? Because this is the moment, not next week, not next year, not someday. This is the moment that decides who you become, not the big goal, but the tiny, powerful decision you make right now. Will you sit there or will you move? Will you scroll or will you build? Will you delay or will you start? Your future self is watching, and they're hoping you say yes. Let's get real. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need another quote on your lock screen. You don't even need someone else to believe in you. You need to make a decision. A decision to stop giving your time, your focus, your life to distractions that give you nothing in return. You've spent enough hours watching other people chase their goals, build their businesses, sculpt their bodies, and rewrite their stories, while your dreams sat in the background, waiting for you to stop scrolling. The truth, no one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to hand you discipline, direction, or confidence. That's your job, and the good news, you're capable of all of it. Right now, you have everything you need to change everything. You have awareness. You see the problem clearly now. You know the scroll trap isn't just wasting your time. It's stealing your potential. You understand the habit loop. The pull of distraction isn't weakness. It's wiring. But wiring can be rewritten. You know that discipline isn't punishment. It's your power, your freedom. You've learned that action, fast, small, fearless action, is how you outsmart the part of your brain that wants comfort more than progress. And most of all, you know that the future you crave is not waiting for permission. It's waiting for you to choose now. So here's the final truth. If you want to feel proud of yourself 6 months from now, if you want momentum, clarity, confidence, purpose, then stop waiting. Stop scrolling, start working, write the first page, film the first video, send the first email, take the first walk, build the first brick. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to begin. Because your life doesn't change when you wish for it. It changes the moment you do something about it, and that moment is now.